Welcome to Combat Sports in Africa. Today we're talking about the IMMAF Africa Championship, which just wrapped up this weekend in Luanda, Angola. Our guest is Team Namibia's Veja Hinda. He fought and won the silver medal in the men's featherweight division. Hello, Veja. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always good speaking to you.
Yes, it's always good speaking to you as well. This is our second time doing the interview. I have a bunch of questions, obviously, to ask in regards to the IMMAF Africa Championships, which was very exciting this year. There was a lot of support, as we were saying just before I hit record. There seemed to be a lot of support coming out of Namibia for the team as a whole. Talk to us about that.
So obviously after the world champs earlier this year and the previous African champs, the sport is starting to grow within Namibia, and people are starting to find out a lot more about what the sport is all about. So with them having a better understanding of what MMA actually is, the support is it's bound to grow. So now, as soon as we got back, we had the media meeting us at the airport and interviewing us too. So it's all just a win-win.
Absolutely, and it's awesome to witness it. I was watching the live stream on Facebook from as far as the matches and so on, and I could tell there was a lot of Namibian flags and a lot of fans from Namibia tuning in to support you guys. And as you're saying, it seems like this year you guys really have a lot of positive momentum, and you're generating a lot of interest from people in your country, and that's outstanding for MMA in Namibia, and I imagine for the whole of Africa. So let's dive into it. This year you secured the silver medal, which is a remarkable achievement. Congratulations. Can you share with us what this experience has meant for you personally, and what were the significant takeaways that you plan to carry forward in your career?
Obviously this year's championships were held in Angola, Luanda, Angola. It was a lot different from what I was used to, or the previous African champs, which was held in the 2022 African champs, which was held in Johannesburg. There were less countries competing. There were a lot of Angolans though. And but everything, it's always a learning opportunity, if I must say. Coming into a country like Angola, Luanda, the people were very friendly to us too. The crowd wasn't against us. They were actually cheering. They just wanted to see a good competition, like good matches between the athletes. So that was very nice of everything. But I don't know. I say overall the competition went it went well. I'll say, like you said, I managed to get the silver medal, which I'm not too happy about. I just like to win. Nobody likes to lose. So I'm not too happy with coming home with silver, but it is an achievement after all. And I know already what I need to work on, and the aspects of my game where I made a few mistakes again, and my opponent was able to capitalize on, and he did a real good job in doing that. So yeah.
We'll dive into that, but first, I just want to comment about all the energy and hype from the crowd in Angola and Luanda, Angola, as you mentioned, because we could hear them going nuts. There was, they were very enthusiastic. They were very hyped up, and again, it's always great to see that as fans. We're tuning in from all over the world. I'm tuning in from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and I could feel the energy, man. And it's always cool to feel that, even though it's virtual. It's being streamed online. I want to know, in terms of your approach, how has your approach and strategy evolved from last year, considering, that you had the experience of being a gold medalist? You went into this as the champion. How did your strategy approach, or did it not? How did your approach and strategy change? Did it not change? Well, what did you alter, or did you not alter anything at all?
This time around, we didn't really change too much of my game. We obviously just worked on a little technical stuff when it comes to the wrestling and all that. But mostly we're focused on our fitness, because we took a big time off from the Worlds coming into the African Champs. So maybe that was a little mistake that we'd made from my side, from the team. But we stayed sharp. We got good 2.5 months of preparation coming into this championships, and yeah, I'll say not much has changed. No strategy really has changed. But now we know there are a lot of people that have been doing their homework on us, obviously. So
absolutely, yeah.
So now we know we have to do our homework before we go compete again. Because I see before we go compete again. The Worlds are coming up. There are going to be other competitions we're going to be going to. It's no more just an amateur thing where we go in there and we just try to do what we do. The level of MMA is increasing. So with that being said, homework needs to be done. You can't just go in there expecting, no, we're fit, we're ready, we're healthy. No, you need to go study your opponents or do as much research as you can and take it from there.
Obviously, your opponents were researching you. They've all seen the highlight reels, the spectacular finishes and the dramatic ends to your matches. And they knew what to expect, I would imagine. And of course, I'm sure they listened to all the interviews, right? People are always trying to assess their opponents, their strengths, and things that they think they could exploit as far as in the cage and so on. Now, Team Namibia had a great presence at the championships. Can you talk about the camaraderie and synergy in the team and how it contributed to the overall performance? I asked this question because I saw a lot of social media posts and so on, primarily on Instagram, I believe, and some on Facebook, where you could see a lot of support from the team. To talk to us about that and how important that was, that team spirit.
The team spirit, the energy, it's the most important, actually. If there's a rotten apple in the group, we'll always have to get rid of it. If one apple is bad, it's going to make us all go bad. But the team spirit was always high. There was a little incident that happened at the competition where I was matched up with my training partner, which affected us a lot, actually, because we've both put in the work to go and achieve gold medals, but we never knew that we'd be meeting each other in the semifinals like that. And then so that obviously affected a little bit of us, but we tried to stay positive, and because we had other training partners like Damian Muller, part of the team also, and Hervé Zhang, who competes he's from Congo, but he trains with us. So we just tried to keep the energy up, but it was a bit difficult. But the support is always good from the coach, from the teams, and from the families, knowing that this has not been an easy decision for all of us. Like, for Geraldo, and a lot of respect to him, and thank you to him for, allowing me to try and achieve the double champ status. But yeah, it has been tough, but it's part of the sport, I guess.
It sure is. And if you don't mind, if I can ask a follow-up in regards to that, what was the initial reaction when that news was made that you guys were going to fight each other? And now that that's happened, what does that mean to the dynamic and the friendship and the bond? Because you are training partners, as you mentioned, and this is a sport. This is part of the game, right? If this was basketball or rugby or whatever, it'd be the practice. You know what I'm saying? Like it's part of it. It's easy for us as fans to say that, right? We can say that, but we're not in there, Monday to Sunday training, and it's a relationship, right? It's a partnership as far as training and development goes. How did you all react ultimately, and what does this mean now moving forward?
So we weren't happy at first when our coach brought the news to us that we'll have to go against each other, because we realized that there are two other Angolans in the other semifinals. So we're trying to find a way, can we not just compete against an Angolan each? I'll go against one and Geraldo will go against the other. Doesn't matter who, but the fact that we have to go against each other, we're not too happy about that. And, it's difficult going against your teammates, your training partner, because all my camps, he's my main training partner. He's seen me sweat, he's seen me cut weight, he's seen me bleed, he's seen my injuries. Day in, day out, we've been there, we've been traveling together. So to go in there and have ill intentions, like, okay, I'm going to go fight Geraldo to hurt him because he's in my way. I cannot find myself to come to that. Like the night before, the previous night, I couldn't even get some rest because all I could think of was the next day. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go against my training partner. I still have to go through this whole process. And I couldn't rest the whole time. I know it was just difficult. Overall, it was just difficult. I'm even struggling to speak now. It's a bit emotional because, yeah, but like you said, it is part of the sport. I still have to. Right now, we just got back yesterday, so I'll give him some time to be with his family and all. We do know that the Worlds are coming up, and I do need him as much as he does need me. And yeah, we spoke a bit about it, after the championships. We managed to sit down, have a few drinks, with the team and just relax. So, but we're going to pick up from here, and we're just going to be bigger and better. And hopefully going into the future, we're going to avoid having two of us in the same division,
Right.
because, if it comes to meet beat, I feel like they're always going to try and match us up in the semifinals. And I know my team's going to do good. Namibia always does good. So if we're in the same division, we are bound to meet. So hopefully now we'll just be choosing different categories to be competing in. So I feel like that should be the way forward for us.
Yeah, it would seem that would be the best approach, of course, because it is a tournament format and it's almost inevitable. There's a possibility that you could get matched up. And, we see this happen also on the professional side where promoters want to matchmakers, so on, want to book the best matches. And sometimes it involves teammates fighting, we're talking about professional MMA, and it's a reality, and it's not easy. Absolutely. I'm curious to know a bit more about Damian Muller, who won gold. This is a fellow teammate of yours in the flyweight division. Tell us a little bit about Damian, because I don't think he was there last year, right? No, right.
He was supposed to compete, but then we had a jiu-jitsu competition where he actually he got injured, so that stopped him from competing or attending the.
Right. Sorry, I think you did mention him then. You did mention him last time we spoke, right? Yes.
He was in my corners. He was cornering me with my coach. I have a lot of pictures with him. Yeah, after the matches. Right. Yeah, but he couldn't compete. But he worked. He did the camp. But sadly, whatever happened to him. So this time around, we just made sure that we're gonna try and go into this African Champs with no injuries. Everybody was good. Damien has been working. He's been motivated. He's been trying to prove a point since the 2022 African Champs already, that he is a force to be reckoned with. And I'm so happy that now people have been able to see him compete, and he's just getting better. Daily, he's just working. The next time you see him, he's going to be a lot better version of himself. And right now, he's motivated, and we've learned from me, I kind of took my foot off the gas because I thought I was good, but now you get guys that have been working really hard to get to where I am. And I'm sure that guys are going to be working really hard to get to where Damien is. So there's no time to be relaxing. Everything from now is all gas and no breaks. So, yeah.
Right on. What's the reception from fans in Namibia as far as athletes who want to say, train mixed martial arts? Are you guys getting more people dropping by your gym, be it recreationalists or people crossing over from other sports? Has that happened over the last year or so?
A lot. It's still happening till today. I can be walking around town, somebody will recognize me, like, yo, I'm such a big fan. I've been really wanting to start in mixed martial arts. I'm like, yo, you should definitely come by, because I feel like they always have the wrong image of what MMA is. But then a few people have come by. They've actually made the time to come stop by and see what it's all about. But the sport it's growing. If you should see our classes now, they're full. Everybody's getting mixed martial arts. So in the next year or two, you'll be seeing a lot more amateur athletes coming out of Namibia as compared to as what was the case before.
Outstanding. And if I may ask, on the media side, you mentioned that on the return back from the Africa Championship, you guys had some interviews and so on. How important is that in terms of promoting the sport within the country, doing more media interviews and so
on? It's the most important. It's the only way that the nation or the people around can see what is going on with regards to mixed martial arts. That's how they educate themselves better about what is going on. And now they can see that we are doing really well with mixed martial arts, even though it's kind of new to Namibia. A lot of people like finding an interest. They're seeing, our national team is actually doing good, so it helps up with the sponsorships and all the little nitty-gritties that comes with it. But yeah, the more media we do, the better it is for us always.
Absolutely. In terms of techniques and skills, what did you find the most challenging about your opponent in the finals? I'm speaking about Diogo from Angola. If we can jump right into that. What did you find the most challenging about your opponent? If you could break it down for us, for those who may not have seen the match, speak to us about it. And in terms of like techniques and skills, if you could break it down.
I'll maybe just say the most challenging part about it was the strength difference that I felt. Like he was a lot more like powerful, he was like stronger than me. I had him. There's a time I had him against the cage, but I could feel I was exerting so much energy just keeping him on the cage. So I could feel like already there was our first grappling exchange. There was a big strength difference. So I knew, okay, no, I had to make a few adjustments to be able to get around his strength. But besides that, maybe his wrestling was good. He'd always like his cage work. He would try and clinch up in the middle, push it to the cage, and then try and work his way to get a takedown from there. So that was good on his side. But besides that, I feel like there was nothing else that really stood out to me that I would have to. Yeah. So right now it's just the wrestling and the strength that I just need to work on.
He looked like a welterweight. Like he definitely. I mean, you're right about the size. He was huge. Like I don't know. He looked to me more like a welterweight. And he looked physically strong. How much homework did you do on him? How much did you know about the Angolan team in general? And have you crossed paths with this individual before, maybe in a training camp or so on?
No, I haven't crossed paths with him at all. But after the fight, he told me that he was the biggest fan of me. He's been following me. Yes, so I didn't know who he was at all. So he came up to me, he's like, "Yo, I'm a big fan. I've been following you and the work that you've done. I like your style. All this." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I didn't know he even follows me on Instagram, but I didn't even know that. So I didn't know who he was. I just go up on the day and find out that I'm fighting against him. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's not a problem for me. But yeah, I feel like obviously if we start going professional, it's gonna be a bit different. You'll be able to study your opponents. Right now, I do not know. And many of the guys are amateurs, they're coming up for the very first time.
Right.
Their fights haven't been streamed, so it's difficult to even get any footage or anything on the athletes. So it's a bit difficult right now. And it's the other way for me because all my videos and stuff, it's all over the internet. If you want to see anything of me,
Absolutely, yeah.
it's accessible. So,
as I mentioned from the top, there's some really incredible highlight reels that make quite a statement. The head kick, the submissions, and all that. And it's one of the realities, right? When you're known versus someone who might be unknown as far as their digital footprint or whatever you want to call it on social media, the internet, and so on. I'm curious to know if this guy is probably a former. He was on the national wrestling team for Angola, or maybe the judo team or something. Because his takedowns, I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'll have to look into it. But you're absolutely right. And his main thing was his wrestling, his ability to take you down, his opponent down, and he was very physically strong. And I would read some of the comments on the Facebook stream during the match, and some people were, your fans were basically like, he's not, this guy's not doing anything. He's just, he's taking him down and he's holding on and he's buying time. And I think that was the strategy, because if anyone knows or has seen you fight, they definitely don't want to be standing with you as far as striking, right? Because they might get KO'd. Sorry, go ahead.
It is part of the sport, though. So obviously, the people who support me, they will be upset. They'll say he's still just taking down, he's holding, but it gets you the wins, man. That's how Khabib has been dominating half of the UFC and getting most of the wins. So it's good up to him. He did his homework and he was able to execute. Whether it was the most boring fight, or at the end of the day, you just need to get the win. You need to get that goal. So, yeah, it was good.
I wouldn't characterize the fight as boring. I don't know if people called it so, but I wouldn't. It was strategic on his part, or his tactic was pretty obvious, and I think it was a safe bet for him as opposed to actually standing and mixing up with you, in my opinion, as a fan. I want to shift to the topic of mental focus in the battle. Can you describe how you managed to maintain your focus and your resilience throughout the match, especially in those high pressure moments? Because you seem very calm, even in the intensity of it all. You didn't seem frustrated, or you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't see that. How did you maintain that focus?
I feel like it just comes with competing. The more that I compete, the better I'm able to keep my composure in there. the more I'm gonna be used to the pressure and the stress and all that comes with it. In the beginning, I was panicking and stressing all over, but now the more that I compete, I'm able to like, okay, no, yeah, take a breath, relax, work from here step by step, So I feel like, I don't know, my coach too, them calling out instructions and being in that position before, it helps me keep my composure and stay relaxed. The more that I stress or get frustrated, the more energy I'll be burning, the more mistakes I'm bound to make. So there is no point in stressing and worrying about little things. So just have to just stay focused and just take it a step by step.
In earlier on in our interview, you mentioned that you guys had a 2-month training camp in the lead up to this championship. When you think back about that 2 months in training, what was the main takeaway from that training period in the lead up? Because you were coming into this tournament as the champion. And what were some of the thoughts that were running through your mind, and particularly in the training, what were you focusing on? I know you mentioned that it was just business as usual. It was typical training. But in hindsight, would you change something in regards to the preparation and the lead up to it?
Not really. We're just, doing what we always do, because the strategy has been good. We've been winning. We've been doing really good. So we cannot change something that is not working. As long as it's working, we're like, okay, no, this is working for us. We're gonna stick to it, and we're gonna keep going with it. So we did 2.5 months. We're bringing some boxers, and because we saw a few clips of a few athletes, and there were a lot of like stand up and just wanting to brawl and throw hands. So we brought in a few Namibian boxers, to come work with us. So we did a few sparring sessions with them. So that was good. But I see the game plan was completely different. We know that we need to bring in probably a lot more wrestlers into the camp and work wrestling, because even when I look back at the Worlds, the same thing was happening in a lot of the matches. There was just a lot more wrestling. People don't really want to stand up and exchange and trade and show the skill of boxing or of striking, So now we know if going forward, a lot more wrestling is going to be done.
It's really cool that you guys are collaborating with the boxing community. You're bringing in boxers, and now you mentioned that you're bringing in wrestlers. You plan on bringing in wrestlers. I think that's outstanding. Curious to know, in terms of moments in the fight, if you don't mind, let's go back to that match with Diego for the gold. Can you discuss a specific moment from that particular fight where it was a turning point for you, either a positive turning point or a negative turning point? Like, have you gone back and watched the fight and taken notes? And I'm curious to know also what your coach said after the fight. Any feedbacks or constructive, criticism, etc.
So in the very first exchange, in the first round, I felt good, but then when I wanted to initiate my attack, I saw that he panicked. The moment I moved forward, he panicked, and he stretched out his fingers, and he caught me in the eye. So I was like, eyes a bit blurry, but I realized that he's nervous. He's afraid of me. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna keep it going. And his pace was extremely high. Like, he was just jittery the whole time. He was trying to throw a leg kick, and then the whole time he's active. So I'm like, this guy's gonna be burning himself out completely. Like, at the end of the first round, I realized that I'm still fresh. I'm hardly even breaking a sweat. And I saw he's sitting there, he's taking deep breaths. I'm like, okay, whoa, there's a big fitness difference here. But then going to the second round, I thought, okay, no, I felt his power, I felt his speed, I've got everything down, his timing. But then he managed to change it up. No more kicks and throws. He wanted to just get into me, clinch me, and work the takedown. So from there, I realized, okay, no, it's gonna be a whole different fight now. Because even I was a little upset, because if you get a takedown, I'd expect you to be busy or active on top. Whether you're throwing one punch and then you're resting, or two punches and you're resting, or you're working for a submission, that's okay. But just to get a takedown and just hold on for dear life with no strikes or attempting submissions, the ref should be, like, guys, be active or stand up. So that was a bit annoying. Eventually, the crowd started showing that they're not too happy with how the fight is going. So the ref, I feel like he listened to the crowd more. Then he's like, okay, no, guys, stand up. So I'm like, okay, cool. That took a bit longer. So that was a bit frustrating. But I just say that I feel like my timing was completely off because I could see everything coming, all his strikes, his punches, kicks, I could see them coming, I could read them, but to get my counters going I felt like it was taking me that split second too long and that I was always going to be too late. Like I would try to initiate something, but I was just too late. I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, what was going on? I could read everything, I could see it, but I could just not get myself going to the south, to the Veja that I'm used to. It was taking a lot for me. Even my coach was asking after the fight, like, my boy, what's going on? What went wrong? You know, Eating, you could see I was blocking, but what went wrong? I was like, coach, I do not know. I was not present. I was trying my best to get myself going. My coach was in the corner during the rounds. He was telling me like, yo, Veja, you need to wake up. His instructions were like, Veja, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. And I'm like, I'm trying to get going, but it just, I don't know if it's ring rust or taking 7 months off from competing before going again, or I don't know what it could have been, but it was just a lot. It was very difficult for me to get going. I would say that wasn't my best performance ever. So yeah, but now I know hopefully I'm gonna be a lot more active. But I see we've got a month till, or about 2 weeks. I know 2 months before it is world champs again. So
Right.
during this time, sorry.
Yeah, no, right. Please continue. The world. Yeah.
During this time, I want to be as active because I've got no injuries. I'm good. I'm healthy. So if there are any competitions happening, I want to be preparing myself more. Let me feel that environment again, the cage, just competing. I need to have that competitiveness back in my life again. Then I feel like I will be back a lot better, a lot stronger, a lot sharper, like everybody's used to. So it's coming soon.
Right on. In terms of, if you could talk to us, the African Championships, it brings together some of the best fighters on the continent. What are your thoughts on the overall standard of competition? And where do you see African MMA heading in the coming years? Obviously, at this one here, we had a ton of Angolans. They won a ton of medals. I think they potentially even set a record. How would you rate the overall level of competition, the depth of talent from what you saw?
I'll say the level of competition at the 2022 African Championships in Johannesburg, the level of competition was high. Like we had a lot more countries competing. We had the likes of Lewis Mataya. He was extremely sharp. He's good. We had Mario Silva in the bantamweight. He was extremely good. He was sharp. He's now double champ. So good ups on him. We had the South Africans back in the flyweight division. Filani was the champ. The level of competition was high. This time around, we didn't really see too much. There was a lot of like walkovers or buys and people just being pushed through to the finals, and there was no real competition. That's why that's why they were not really posting as much about. People have been asking, what's going on with the competition? Are you guys competing? Are you guys doing what? Are you guys doing what? But I feel like with the years to come, obviously it's still growing in Africa. So next year is probably going to be a lot better. I see that Namibia has been granted the hosting rights for the 2024 African.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn. We've been to Angola, we've been to Johannesburg. We see how more or less it should be. So I feel like it's going to be a lot bigger, a lot better next year.
Outstanding. Quick follow-up about the Namibian MMA scene. Will there be like a national or regional level MMA tournaments, or is that something that is in the works potentially?
Yeah, they should be, definitely, because now there are a lot more people wanting to compete or do MMA. So the athletes are growing in numbers, and we can only have 2 athletes per division. So at this point, we can only choose the best. So I'm sure there's gonna be a national competition or some sort to choose the athletes correctly, or who should be representing Namibia, who is the better athlete at the time, and then choose them. So I'm sure it should happen. Yeah.
Right on. In the lead up now, of course, all eyes are on the IMMAF Worlds, and it's going to be exciting. As you mentioned, you're healthy, you're ready to go. You've qualified. You intend on being there. What about your teammates? Are they also keeping an eye on the IMMAF Worlds? Is that the intent? All three of y'all are going to be there?
Yeah, I think there might even be a bit more, but I'm not too sure yet. But everybody's focused. The moment we landed, we took a day off. We spent time with the family. Yesterday, we met up at the gym already. We're saying, guys, we've got 8 weeks for 8 weeks. If you've got little injuries, go baby them, go see the doctor, go do your checkups. But besides that, coach already wants us in the gym now, today, tomorrow, every day. We're going to be working again leading up to the World. So their minds are ready. Everybody's feeling good. Everybody has a point to prove. So I feel like we're feeling good. And yeah, you should see a good team there at the World.
Right on. How do you think you guys are going to deal now with all the pressure and I guess somewhat of expectations from with all the support that you have now in the country, for people tuning in and just all the interest you've generated? How are you guys going to handle the pressure that comes with expectation, right? In sports, I mean, I'm sure you see that in rugby and in other sports, right? Teams have, they got to represent. So how are y'all going to deal with all that?
Everybody always has their own expectations, as long as we go out there and we do our best, our level best, and leave it all in the cage, then it doesn't really matter what the people expect or think of us. As long as you're okay, you've put in the work, you've gone to go try your best and do your best, nothing else should matter at the time, because there's always going to be pressure. Like for me personally, I don't really feel the pressure as much anymore. I feel like it's good for me. A bit of the spotlight is diverting off of me, so I get to be in the shadows again and work myself until I'm good and ready to get going, to show the people again that I'm still here. But now the fact that I'm in the shadows a bit, it's going to do me very good. So I'm happy. I want all the pressure. It makes you perform better. The fact that people expecting something of you, it makes you want to work harder because people believe in you. So I got not just for me. I've got a whole nation that believes that we can do good. So that's an extra boost. When you're tired, you're like, no, I need to get up at 5:00. Why? Because I believe in myself. People believe in me, and I've got to do it. I just have to do it. So yeah, it's good.
I love it, man. I love it. As a fan, I think it's awesome. Last question for you. The Worlds are in 8 weeks or so. I think you mentioned it already in terms of what you intend to work on. But if you don't mind just elaborating, on what your plan is in the lead up as far as training and overall approach to representing at the Worlds, because you competed, but you're healthy, so you're still good to go. 8 weeks is going to go by like this. Well, what are you going to focus on?
I'm going to be focusing a lot on my wrestling. Personally, I'm going to be focusing a bit of everything, but a little bit more on my wrestling. The mistakes that I just made, because that's my last performance. I need to work on that, not the ones before. So right now, I know a lot more wrestling, a lot more cage work, a lot more strength and conditioning too, So I don't know. And my diet, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'm going to go down to, because I walk around 63 kilograms. Maybe I can just drop 2 kilograms, go down to bantamweight, So there's a lot of things that are going to come into consideration now. So to avoid two athletes being in the same division too. So, but I'll say my fitness is looking good. Going to keep that up. My wrestling, my striking, just going to stay sharp. But I feel like the Worlds, this should be my best performance this time around. I should be giving it all. I've felt everything that I had to feel. I know what I need to work on. And then from next year, okay, we'll get there. But for now, I know what I need to work on.
Well, all the best with that. And I also obviously want to say congratulations, of course, because you made the podium. You got that silver medal. You've got a collection of medals now. You've got the gold. Now you've got, you know what I'm saying? You've got the silver. So all the best to you and the team in the lead up to the IMMAF Worlds. You better believe that I'll be watching, and many of us will be watching and cheering along. Thank you very much for your time, my friend. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.